lot of people actually on Zoom tonight. We're getting into 20 people already. It's fantastic. Let me ask you a question. The chat is wide open. Maybe you just want to do a little bit of a brief intro and saying where you're from. And if you're a fast typist, please let us know what brought you here tonight. So why specifically did you want to know more about this topic? Yeah, what was it that brought you here tonight? If you're a fast typist, boom, go ahead, put something in the chat. I'm a very slow typer, like this kind of typer. So if you're like that kind of typer, maybe it suffices to just let us know and share with the group, where are you from? That'd be nice. That'd be nice to know. Quite often we have people from all over the world. It goes across the continents, but predominantly I would say UK and Ireland and some European countries. So we got the first person here, Romy Estrada from the United States. Feel lost, need some more clarity and confidence. Currently traveling Europe solo. How is that, Romy? How is that? That's amazing. Good. I've been to the United States a couple of times. Been to, different states. Did a bunch of holidays. Okay, good. Let me see. I got some pop-up message here. Need to get rid of that. In the meantime, let's see, who do we have? We got Catarina Oliveira, I suppose from Portugal or Brazil. Then we have Kathy Lincoln. And we got Dave Harris. We got Gwen McIntyre. Harchan Saki. What a nice name. Helen Childers. Okay, Jody Mohan. Kyle. Guys, you won't believe it. Kyle has been following these webinars for more, I counted them, I think more than 40 webinars he has been here. Kyle, you're always great to have around, my friend. That is fantastic. All right, so let's see. Well, do we have Lukas Appenzeller. Lukas, also bist du von der Schweiz oder Österreich or Germany? That sounds like a very, very German name to me. All right, then we got Madhuri from India, I suppose. Great to have you. We got, let me see, we got Maya again. I think Maya, you were here last week, right? It's good to see you again too. Then we got Mingle Stan, or I guess Stan Mingle. Natalie, Philip Roderick, Prashant, Joshi. Must be an Indian name, I suppose, again. Romy Sturga, Susan, Teresa Butler. Fantastic, guys. Fantastic to have you here. And I see, Madhuri, that you actually replied. You are from the UK, want to overcome procrastination. All right. Fantastic, guys. So what is the one thing that I want to get across tonight? So basically, in the next 50 minutes or so, I want to show you what are the two prime factors that pull a person down, that makes him lose his confidence, that makes him lose his self-respect, these kind of things. And by the end of the webinar, I'm actually going to do something different than what we are normally doing. I'm going to show you a bunch of sites that have short films that elaborate a bit more on what we're going to do tonight, and that actually shows you how to get yourself out of the mess if you consider that you're in a mess. Now, maybe it's nice to start with turning your phones off. Maybe you don't want to be disturbed tonight. It would be good, I suppose, if you're here to soak up some information. Maybe you're connected to Facebook and all these kind of things. So see if you can be undisturbed tonight. It would be great. Okay, good. Now, I have another question for you guys. I have another question. So like I said, the chat is wide open. Here's this. Could you imagine if how your life would be if you would have the tools to get your confidence up to a level where you would like to see it? Just a simple yes or no would be great. Could you imagine how your life would be if you could get your confidence up to a level where you would like to see it? Could you imagine such a thing? Kyle said yes, all right, with a smiley. All right, anybody else? Okay, Romy, yes, it feels far away though. I understand, Romy. That makes sense. All right, Jody says yes, with a smiley. Okay, fantastic. All right, now, so let's just dive in. The first thing that I wanted to, oh, Emma and Dave, want to be free of anxiety in many ways. So just looking to try things to improve myself, and confidence is definitely something I lack in. Okay, good. Now, but before we get there, you know what? Maybe you just ask yourself this question, like, what? Why is this dude actually qualified? You know, what makes him qualified to talk on the subject? The only thing I can say on that, because I could elaborate on that for a long time, but the only thing I'm going to say on that is that I've been definitely having these issues with my own self-respect and my own confidence. And at some point, I learned about these two dominant factors that I'm going to show you tonight, how they completely tore apart my life and made me lose my self-respect and my confidence. And as soon as I actually found out about that, what was the exact technology to turn it around, believe it or not, I went from a very, very modest 2,000 euros a month income to 10,000 euros a month. And that basically happened in a matter of less than 6 weeks. So you have a lot of potential. And you may have had that idea like, I could be more, I could do more, I could achieve more, I just don't know how. But you may have had that idea that you could be more, you could do more, you could achieve more. Something is holding you back, something is limiting your potential. You may be aware of that fact. Tonight we're going to have a bit of a look on what it is, or what it could be, and how it contributes, right? Now, let me see. The first thing that we're going to handle is like, what is the fastest way, what is the fastest route down to lose your self-respect? Yeah, we're going to have a look at that. Self-respect, self-confidence. Let me just go into the definitions. It's always nice to clear up a little bit when you consult the etymology of words. Confidence is from Latin, is from con plus fidere. Con means with or together. Fidere means trust. In other words, to trust with you, to trust, to have trust in you. Right? In other words, it's self-trust. You can rely on yourself. You can trust yourself. Now, we could go into self-respect. And once again, respect is also from Latin. It's from re, which is again, and specere, which is to look. All right? So in other words, here it is to look back at yourself. So these things are kind of like intertwined, have a lot to do with each other. But when you, what we're going to see tonight, when you're going to do certain things that you may find discreditable about yourself, you're going to look back at those things, right? So you're going to look back and you're going to lose trust, for example. Okay, good. So let's dive in. I have a very, very funny question. Got a very, very funny question. Before we start with the theory, do we have anybody here tonight who ever robbed a bank or killed somebody? Do we have anybody here who robbed a bank or killed somebody or did something, atrocious? Could you put that in the chat, please? Could you be as honest as possible? So, well, yes, I robbed a bank, Erik, or yes, I killed a person, or yeah, I committed this atrocity, or no way, I never did that. How, Greta, how dare you? How dare you, Erik? So, all right, so what's the answer, guys? Is it a yes or is it a no? All right, Madri, never. Okay, Madri's a saint. Okay, she's a good girl. Romy, no. All right, laugh out loud. All right, Romy, seems like you're a good girl too. Okay, Simon says, no, sir. All right. Very good. Well done. Kyle, no, nah. All right. Didn't happen to you. Maya, no. Guys, I'm a bit disappointed now. We got no bank robbers here. We got no criminals in the house. What is this? I was at least expecting one or two criminals here. Okay, well, so I guess this webinar is not for you then, right? Well, okay, let's just bring it down now. So if you didn't rob any bank, if you didn't commit any atrocity or commit any murder, these kind of things, let me ask you this: did you ever tell a lie? Did you ever tell a lie? Would that be a yes or a no? Yeah. All right. So we're not all saints, right? Okay. Okay. All right. So now, okay. So we did tell some lies, right? The next thing I want to ask you: have you ever observed this phenomenon? You told a lie, but then that person that you told the lie to was pulling some strings on you, and you had to cover it up with another lie. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that you told a lie and you had to cover it up with another lie? Oh yes, that's the worst, isn't it? All right, Kyle, yes. It is the worst. Very true. I'm gonna do a little sketch on this, okay? I'm very, very uncomfortable, right, Simon? Okay, good. So I think everybody's on the same wavelength here, so we've all done that. All right. So now let's take Mary. I hope that's visible. Yeah, it should be visible, right? This is Mary. And here's Joe, okay? Now, so they both have a mind. I'm just gonna draw Joe's mind. So that is Joe's mind. No, your mind is pictures. There's a whole bunch of pictures. If I would say primary school, you may get a flash of the playground or the building itself or the entrance or the exit. If I would say, did you ever have a pet, like a dog or a cat or a hamster or a rabbit? You get a picture, right? If I would say, well, do you remember the house where you grew up as a child? You get a picture. So your mind is pictures. We're not going to go into that. That's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're going to talk about the genius of you, which is all about your mind. But your mind actually makes pictures. Well, for now, it suffices to say you have recordings. Yeah, you have recordings. So, for example, let's say you're looking for the remote control. You have a recording of it. Yeah, your mind will just tell you, okay, go there, because there you'll find your remote control. It's all recorded. Now let's say over here, a little bit back in time, maybe the same evening, but just some hours ago, Joe was there, but he was actually seeing another woman. He was seeing another woman, and he's got a recording of that right here. So, now he gets home. Mary says, where have you been? And Joe says, well, I've been out with my friends. I already told you, I'm gonna have a beer with my friends. So actually, he's telling a lie. He's not telling the truth. He's actually telling a lie. Okay, so she said, but why are you so late? What have you been doing? And now he says, oh, kind of cozy, and some more friends arrived, and all of us got a few more beers. So that's the next lie, right? But Joe, couldn't you at least call me and let me know where you're at? Yeah, I tried, but the network was down. All these convenient lies, right? Okay, now, what is so crucial? So let's say here we got the first incident. Now here he tells a lie, and there he tells a lie, and now here he tells a lie again. But every lie essentially is a harmful act. So I'm going to ask you, why is a lie a harmful act? Who has the answer? Why do you think a lie is a harmful act? Meantime, I'm just going to slobber on my tea a little bit. Kyle, I like that answer. It's deception. Okay? It's a slippery slope. It's dishonesty. Okay? Oh, that's very true. You know what is the key thing here? The main thing we're trying to do in life is to survive. You eat because you want to survive. You drink because you want to survive. You take your vitamins and your nutrition because you want to survive. You want to prolong your life. You want to prolong the quality of life. Now, you're not just surviving for you. You're also surviving as a little team, which is called a partnership or a family. So once you have a partner, you want your partners to survive. You want your kids to survive. If you're part of a group, let's say like a soccer club or swim club or any other kind of club, you want that group to continue to exist, right? And the funny thing is that if they're collecting money for, let's say, children who have these big bellies in Malawi, and somebody would stop you and say, hey, yeah, we're doing collections for these kids. Would you be willing to help them? Then you have this urge to support even people that you don't know in their survival. So life itself is all about survival. Now, so when you commit a harmful act, you're actually committing an act which goes against your survival and the survival of others. So, all right, let's have a look what is happening here. So basically, this itself is a harmful act. Joe might go home and he might actually feel very guilty about it. Have you ever noticed that you did something that you wouldn't want somebody else to do to you, that you didn't feel really happy with what just had happened, right? So it builds up stress, it builds up charge. What it does is that at that moment, you were not really yourself. Now you're going to go on and you're going to tell a lie. Well, let's keep it neutral. Let's stick to Joe. And he tells another lie. So what do you think is going to be the result of this? If Mary just starts pulling the strings, what is going to be the result? What is going to be the result? Does Joe want to communicate further, or does he want to pull out of it and communicate less? What do you think is going to happen? Mary wants to pull the strings, wants to go into the nitty-gritty of the whole thing. What do you think is going to happen with him? Does he want to communicate more, or does he want to communicate less? Okay, so let me see your answers, guys. I like the way you are participating. We got a bunch of yeses. Let's see. Okay, I just missed a few comments. Okay, so let me just have a look at that. Communicate less. Pull out and communicate less. Simon, communicate less. All right, going to want to communicate less. You will have a guilty conscience or continuing in the lies cycle. We will not want to tell the whole truth. Why is that? He actually has a sense of decency that he knows that this was a harmful act. Now he regrets it. Now he knows that he shouldn't have done it. But now he's faced with this dilemma. He is faced with this dilemma that if he would tell Mary about it, she'll be heartbroken. So he commits one thing that is not all right, that's not okay. But now, if he's going to tell the truth, he's going to commit another harmful act here because it's going to break her heart. Now he's got a true dilemma. He's got something on his conscience, and he has only two options. One option is to come clean and tell the truth. But it might mean that she's not going to take it well, that she's going to be heartbroken, that she's going to say, Joe, I never want to see you again. Or that he keeps this whole thing as a little secret. He keeps the whole thing there as a little secret, but now there's a certain thing, there's this certain area in life that cannot be discussed, that cannot be brought to the table, that he cannot talk about. So, going around with a secret in your life, and knowing that, these things can be triggered, are your communication skills going to improve, or are they going to lessen? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to improve or they're going to lessen? All right, they're going to lessen, right? Okay, so now he's gonna carry that stuff around, and he's gonna have some baggage here. So what is going to happen is very, very, very key. Let's imagine you have a pond here, right? And this pond resembles life. This is all of life. This is you. This is your family. This is your work. This is your social ties. This is your ties with humanity. So this is a pond, right? Now I'm gonna toss a stone in the pond. Right? I'm gonna toss a stone right there. Is that just going to affect this area of the pond, or is it going to ripple out? Well, you know the answer. It's going to ripple out. So whatever affects this is going to affect the entire pond. And so it is with life. We make a mistake. Now we dwell on it. We're sitting on it. We're trying to suppress it. We're trying to keep it away from us. We're hoping it will not be discovered. We hope we can keep it at bay, at a distance, that we're not being reminded of it. And all the energy we give it is exactly what we become. So now we got this dilemma. It can be triggered at any given time. Maybe a week later, Mary says, "Hey Joe, but my sister saw you last week in the bar." Now he's gonna go, "Ga-ding, ga-ding, 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 ga-ding. What the F just happened here?" So now Joe, he is going to try to avoid these subtle communications more and more and more. He's going to pull out. So like you just said, he's going to communicate less. So let's say all this never happens. Joe's got a clean slate. He's got no secrets. he's completely clean, that will allow him to communicate more. Because there's nothing that would trigger him and that would make him feel like, oh my God, I have to hide this. And now we get into the condition where we withdraw from life or we reach to life. Where we reach to life, we are actually able to make things happen. Where we withdraw from life, things actually start to happen to us. In other words, this person becomes effect of life. Life makes him. And over here, this person is at cause in life. He's making life. Okay, well, that's easy. So all we need to do is to bring Joe from a position where life is making him, from a condition, gradually over to where he can actually start making life again. All right, does that make some sense? A little bit, huh? Okay. So let me elaborate on that a little bit. So maybe you've done drugs. Maybe you inflicted some harm on yourself, like gambling or indulging in pornography, or just not being true to yourself in any way. And then later on you regretted it. You said, but I have this impulse. I had to do it. I couldn't stop myself. I had this impulse. You had this impulse, and then you felt you did have to stop yourself. And now you figured, what can I do to not do this again? So your focus now is, how can I stop my own behavior? That is one thing. That is like committing a harmful act against you, against yourself. Now, if the examples that I just gave you are like, okay, well, you know, but I don't have any problem with that, that's fine. But maybe there's something there in your life that you can find that, hey, you know, that is not really me. I don't want these impulses. So that will be an act of commission. You would commit an overt or a harmful act. You would commit a harmful act either upon you or somebody else. Now you could also have a harmful act of omission, which is like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Well, how could that be? Okay, well, let's imagine you're in the military and you're in a position where you see the enemy taking out hostages, just slaughtering them. And you happen to have a very, very good shot, but you don't act. You know what happens to these soldiers? They're going to go home, they're going to have all kinds of diseases, they're going to have nightmares, they're going to have whatever, because their harmful act was that they didn't do what they were supposed to do, that they knew they shouldn't have done or should do. So a harmful act can be something that you did, you regret, or something that you didn't do and you regret. That's quite new. It's quite a new concept to a lot of people. If you go to court, they're not going to accuse you for the things that you didn't do. They're going to find you guilty on the things that you did do. But our conscience doesn't work that way. Our conscience works like, well, I didn't do this, but I was supposed to do it. So let's say you make your monthly income, but you know you're slacking at work. You're not doing your job. At the end of the day, you earn 200 euros or 200 pounds. You say, well, I was present. I had my coffee today. I answered one phone call. That is going to work on you. Yeah? Now, okay, good. So we go through life. We're going to stack all that stuff up. We're going to stack all that stuff up. If you look back, your self-respect, looking back at your actions, you're going to find all these things that you cannot bring to the table, that you may find discreditable about yourself. And that is the number one reason, believe it or not, is the number one reason a person starts to hold himself back. There's something in his mind and in our minds that makes us have that impulse to be destructive. It holds you back when you want to do something good, and it impulses you to do something bad and regret it later on. In both ways, we feel like I wasn't myself, and now I need to use my energy to stop me from doing these things. That is where you go in a dwindling spiral. Because you mustn't do it again. All right, it's a bit more clear now. Let me see. Okay, what are the responses in the meantime? So just be honest and you'll be fine. All right, being too honest can be very harmful. That's also a form of impulsivity, all right, if not kept under control. Though love, truth, good intentions can still hurt others. Yes, it's all true, guys. It's all true, guys. Basically, you need to have a set of qualities that need to be aligned, so that in the end you can build full understanding. It's true. This is a very treacherous and deceiving world, because everybody on the planet has got the same mechanism in his mind that will pull him down and limit his potentials and make him act irrationally. Now, at the end of the webinar, like I said, I'm going to present you an extra film where you can see this whole thing playing out in film. Okay? My throat is letting me down a little bit because I need a bit more tea. Good, we're going to go to the next subject. We're going to go to number 2. All right, cool. Now, the next thing that I want to bring up is actually something that we could call suppression. Suppression. If we look at the world at large, we see that things are really upside down. We see that really bad, destructive projects are being pushed, and that really constructive ones are being squashed. If you would come up with an engine that runs on water and that would be very, very clean, it would assist the environment, you probably get shot. So there's certain interests, certain forces here which would never ever back up something which would be that constructive. If you would come up with a cure which would be fully natural with no side effects whatsoever for the body, and that would cure a host of diseases, and it would just cost a dime, you probably get shot again. If you would promote war and say, well, you know, we gotta do war in more territories, well, you probably get a promotion and go up to a higher rank. So there's something really off here, and it's under the heading of suppression, which means to suppress, to squat a person's good intentions, a person's goodwill, a group's good intentions, a group's goodwill. So it is to squash any effort that would make things better. And it will be a good thing to have a look at. So let me just do a very, very simple sketch here. Let's take an American mailbox. It's like one of these things on poles, right? An American mailbox. So now Joe gets up in the morning and he opens his mailbox and he gets a letter which is very positive, which has fantastic news. Now, let me ask you, what is going to happen to Joe's emotion? Right, in the meantime, looking at your guys' comments, like what you said, like play the game of life and don't get played by the game of life. Exactly, so true. Thank you guys. All right, so Joe in the morning opens his mail and he gets a very, very positive letter. What is going to happen? All right, he feels uplifted. He's going to be grateful. So emotionally, what is going to happen? Well, emotionally, he's going to go up, right? He's going to be happy, he's going to be cheerful, he's going to be enthusiastic, he's going to be interested, whatever. Yeah, he's going to be in a better state, better condition. And let's say the next day, I'm just going to draw that here. The next day, he's going to go to his mailbox again. Now he finds a letter which is extremely negative. What is going to happen to Joe's emotion? Pop something in the chat. What he walks over to the mailbox, he opens a letter, it's extremely negative. A sad face emoji, right, Dave? That makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna be sad, I suppose. Something might be something just upsetting, right? Now what's happening here is here we are dealing with vitality. Vitality from vita, meaning life, or how much life do you have? Well, if you get good news, your vitality goes up. You feel like you have more life units in you. Your vitality goes down. You feel like you're losing life units. In other words, when you get more of these life units, you become livelier. When you lose them, you feel like you're almost dying. So now, good news, bad news. The bad news is going to get you down, and the good news is going to lift you up. Okay, so we have a roller coaster here. We got a roller coaster. Now let's replace that news. Let's just replace that for individuals. So Joe has got a friend and his friend deals in encouragements. deals in encouragement and compliments. That friend just passes on good news. So that friend actually likes to help. The key thing here, if you have a true friend, your true friend will help you to do better. Your true friend is very interested in your survival. Okay, so let's take the other friend. See, I put quote unquote, the other friend deals mainly in bad news. In derogatory remarks. In criticism. In invalidation. I'm going to explain that word. And in suppression. So what is invalidation? It makes things, it renders something invalid. It actually means you're going to try to reduce something to zero. All right, now, so let's say that is your partner. And say, hey, honey, have you seen my keys? I seem to have forgotten my keys somewhere. And your friend, your partner says, that is so typical of you. You always forget your things. All right. So what kind of thing, what kind of statement would that be? You always forget your things. It's not something that's going to lift you up, is it? It's more something that is going to pull you down. Okay, so maybe you just got some bad news. You come home, person says, have you heard the news? The economy is really bad. They sacked again approximately 1 million people. The job market is really bad. Not many chances for you to get a better job. So a person will give you bad news. Will make derogatory remarks. You know, I know you're ambitious, but, you know, do you really have the diplomas for that? Because it's pretty useless, right? You have no education in that field. So why would you even start? Now, if we look at what is going on here, believe it or not, 80% of the population is actually social. What does that mean? Well, the social person likes to help. What is help? It is assisting you in your survival. That is what real help is. It's assisting you in your survival. It's assisting somebody else in his or her survival. That person here, the antisocial, absolutely hates the idea of help. any help is betrayal. You can put that to the test. You randomly ask people, how could you help people? At some point, you're going to get an answer from an antisocial social person. Well, you could help them by eliminating them. Or you could help them by making sure that they don't procreate. You could help them by, well, by not helping them, by learning them how to be on their own feet, or some such answer. That person does not stand the idea of help. So what we're dealing with is you have an individual who's trying to suppress you and other people for the reason that he himself is kind of like struggling with life. He figures that if you get better, you're going to be a real menace to him. Now, so here's two key things, right? One is that harmful act, like you're doing things to yourself that you don't like. You have done things to others that you don't like. As a result, you kind of like withdrew from life, started to communicate less. And number two is actually suppression. And when you're doing these ups and downs, one moment good, one moment bad, you start to roller coaster. How can you see if you're roller coastering? Well, you got mood swings. You make mistakes. You have little accidents. Your attention is somewhere else. You're not really here. You're depressed and you're not really happy. Something is pulling you down. When you've spotted that, there's two options. You can either disconnect from that person, or if you see some kind of a workability there, you might be able to handle the individual. In other words, you need some technology. Let me see, you got 10 minutes before 9. Let me have a quick zip. All right, guys, we're going to go toward the end of the webinar. Obviously, there's always more things to tell right now. And to that extent, what I wanted to do, I actually wanted to share more data with you. So let's imagine this. Let's imagine you could see this whole thing playing out in a film. How relationships actually worsen because somebody is holding back, sitting on something that it doesn't want to bring to the table. So let's imagine you would be totally in control of that and able to correct that in yourself, so that you can actually bring anything to the table. And you could actually empty that baggage that you're carrying along, that you've been building up. And you can get that crap out of your system. What kind of a value would that mean to you? What kind of a value would that mean to you? It would be quite valuable, right? So imagine that likewise you would have the tools to just know spot on who you can trust, who to associate with. You just know right away. Right now I'm dealing with a social person. Right now I'm dealing with an antisocial person. Let's say you had the tools presented to you in such a way that you could know them easily and you could apply them easily and know right away with whom do you want to be partners, with whom do you want to do business, in what kind of group do you want to be. That would be priceless, right? Now, Another thing that I would like to offer you tonight is something that is like a free personality test. Now you can find these online. Sometimes you get very good ones, which might go anywhere between 300 and 500 euros. And you can pay for that, or sometimes the company pays for it. Let's imagine you got that kind of personality test with the results coming to you for free, where you can actually pinpoint what is the weakest link in your chain of life, so to speak. And then accompany that with a book that will give you the tools on how to find your own self-respect, on how to boost it, how to boost your confidence, give you all these tools to do that. That is basically what I would like to offer to you tonight. I'm not sure if you have the slide, Pavel. I'm just talking to my colleague right now. Yeah, it could be. But I think there's a bit more to it. Let me have a look. I'm just walking over that. Yeah, good. So here's what I want to offer you. There's this book here. I'm just going to hold it up. I'm not sure if you see it, but you can see it on the slide. It's called A New Slant on Life. It's an amazing book. Well, the title is very apt. It says A New Slant, right? It's going to give you a new look on the laws of life itself. How does life behave? What is it composed of? What can you do to make it better? Let's just say if you were a mechanic, you have all the tools to fix an engine. So if you would have such a manual to fix life, would be invaluable, right? So basically what we want to offer you tonight is the book, plus a couple of films, free online courses. So you get that stuff, what we covered tonight, down cold. And you can actually fix yourself and fix your life. Plus a personality test with the results for free. So you can actually see what are your strong points, your weak points. If you want, you can even have a consultation. But we're not going to do that for 300 euros, right? The price for that, what we're going to ask you tonight, free shipping of the book, would be 17 euros only. What a sweet deal, isn't it? What a sweet deal. So, I think Pavel, that's my colleague. I think you can put a link there if you have a link for the book and the and the promotion that we have. So the webinar was actually a sales pitch. Yeah, well, that is nice, Dave. I mean, to some extent, yeah, we're always offering something. That is very true. Now, the main thing here is to just get the information and the knowledge and the awareness across. Obviously, it's very much up to you. What is it that you want to do with it? This is Scientology. Yeah, this is very true. You can see that on the meetup where I actually present myself as a Dianetics and Scientology consultant. So you're right. Carl says the book is absolutely fantastic, and so it is. Yeah. Now, like I said, we're living on a very upside down world. If you come up with a cure, then you're going to be attacked. If you invent the next model, the next generation tank that can wipe out an entire country, you got to be bravoed, right? So sometimes it goes like that with these subjects. Unfortunately, we have antisocial people on the planet who don't like what constructive people are trying to do. That's the simplicity. All right, guys. So I think we nicely made it into an hour. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to do the, what is it again? Well, it's going to be about the mind, the genius of you. I hope you enjoyed it, what we did tonight. Is there any questions? Anybody have any question? Okay, guys. So I guess we're a bit silent here. All good. I hope you're good with what we did tonight. Hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to send me something in the chat on Meetup or whatever. If you want to ask me anything, if you want to make any comment, that's all fine. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow night we're gonna start at 7 instead of 8. You of course very welcome to join. For tonight, I want to say thank you so much for being here, for attending, for participating in the chat. It's been all great. Lovely to have you there. Likewise, again, we had no robbers or bank robbers or thieves here or, whatever. So it was a great crowd. It was fantastic to have you guys. Have a very, very nice rest of the evening and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.